Is Picoin actually a scam? I'm about to answer this question once and for all, and my conclusion will shock you. Look, after 3 years of mining, watching the price crash from $3 to 30 cents, and seeing millions of pioneers stuck in KYC limbo, I know exactly what you're thinking. We've all been played. But here's what nobody is telling you about Pi Network right now, and why I believe the next 6 months will either make us all rich, or prove that we wasted years of our lives. You know, viewers have been messaging me non-stop asking if they should just give up. And honestly, I almost made a video telling everyone to quit Pi completely, but then something happened that completely changed my perspective. And I'm going to reveal everything in the next 8 minutes. I'll show you the hidden $20 million deal that proves Pi isn't dead, the real reason major exchanges won't list Pi yet, and most importantly, whether you should keep mining or abandon ship right now. Make sure to follow my Telegram and Facebook pages linked in the description below, because I'm sharing exclusive evidence there that I can't show on YouTube. You know, viewers who stick around until the end will discover the one critical factor that will determine if your Pi coins become worthless or worth more than you ever imagined. Let me cut straight to the chase because you came here for a direct answer. Pi Network is not a traditional scam, but it's also not the revolutionary cryptocurrency success we all hoped for. Here's my brutally honest assessment after analyzing every piece of evidence. Pi never took your money up front, which separates it from classic crypto scams, but the execution has been so poor that I understand why people feel scammed by the wasted time and false hopes. You know, viewing the situation after years of following the project, I believe we're dealing with an ambitious team that severely underestimated the complexity of building a global cryptocurrency. The real question isn't whether Pi is a scam, it's whether the current developments can save this project from becoming a massive failure. Right now, 50 million pioneers are stuck waiting for KYC approvals, the price has collapsed by over 80%, and major exchanges refuse to list Pi. But here's what's keeping me from telling everyone to quit. There's a secret $20 million partnership that just happened, ecosystem developments that nobody is talking about, and 3 critical factors that will determine Pi's fate in the next 6 months. You know, viewers need to understand that we're at the make or break moment where Pi will either prove its legitimacy or join the graveyard of failed crypto projects, and I'm going to show you exactly which way the evidence points. Let me be brutally honest with you here. The criticism surrounding Pi Network isn't just food from crypto maximalists, and I think it's dangerous for us to dismiss all of it. There are legitimate concerns that every pioneer needs to face head-on, and personally, I've wrestled with these doubts myself. You know, viewing this objectively as someone who's been in crypto for years, the project's heavy reliance on referrals has always made me uncomfortable, even though I understand they never required upfront investment like traditional pyramid schemes. But here's what really bothers me: the limited exchange presence situation. While Pi has managed to get listings on smaller exchanges like Bitget, OKX, and MEXC, the fact that major platforms like Binance and Coinbase won't touch it speaks volumes. You know, viewers often ask me when Pi will hit these major exchanges, and my honest opinion? The major exchanges are waiting to see real utility and stable trading volume, which Pi simply doesn't have yet. I think the core team underestimated how important this credibility factor would be, and their vague roadmap execution continues to frustrate me as much as it frustrates you. But here's where things get interesting. And honestly, this information surprised even me because most Pi content creators are completely ignoring it. You know, viewing recent developments with fresh eyes, Pi Network just backed a $20 million robotics project with decentralized AI firm OpenMind, and I have to admit, this caught me off guard. This isn't just another fluffy partnership announcement that we're used to seeing. In my opinion, this represents genuine real-world utility development that could fundamentally shift how we view Pi's potential applications. The ecosystem development is actually accelerating behind the scenes, and I'll be honest, I didn't expect this level of progress. The Pi browser, App Studio for developers, and the new .pi domain system are creating infrastructure that goes way beyond just being another digital currency. You know, viewers need to understand that from my perspective as someone who's watched countless crypto projects fail, these aren't just tech demos or vaporware. They're building actual building blocks for a comprehensive digital ecosystem. I think the team learned from their past mistakes and are now focusing on substance over hype, which gives me cautious optimism. Here's what separates Pi Network from actual scam projects, and this is something I genuinely respect about this community. The loyalty remains incredibly strong despite all the challenges we've faced. Viewing the numbers honestly, over 50 million pioneers haven't abandoned ship, and as someone who's witnessed countless crypto communities collapse overnight, this is absolutely unprecedented. I think this community strength is Pi's secret weapon, even when everything else seems to be falling apart. The integration of fiat on-ramps into the Pi wallet is a game changer that most people are completely overlooking, and frankly, I think this is one of the smartest moves the team has made. The Pi ecosystem now lets users buy crypto with credit cards and other payment methods, creating real utility that goes beyond speculation. I've tested these features myself, imperfect but functional, and that's more than I can say for many other crypto projects. Still, this is the most critical period in Pi Network's history. Over the next 6 to 12 months, the project must deliver on 3 urgent fronts or risk total collapse. Complete KYC and Mainnet migration for all verified pioneers, dramatically boost real-world usage of its tools, and secure listings on major exchanges like Binance or Coinbase. Without those steps, Pi will continue to be seen as a second-tier project. My advice: stick with cautious optimism. Keep mining since it's free, but don't invest real money until those major milestones are hit. Continue using the free mining feature since there's absolutely no financial risk involved, but please, for your own financial safety, don't invest real money into Pi until these critical milestones are actually achieved. Be extremely careful about fake listings and scam platforms trying to capitalize on Pi's popularity. I've seen too many good people get burned by this. Stick to official announcements from the core team and verified exchanges only, because honestly, the scammers are getting more sophisticated every day. Viewers have personally messaged me about losing money to fraudulent trading platforms claiming to offer Pi trading, and it breaks my heart because I feel partially responsible for getting people excited about this project. My advice? Always verify through official channels, and if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Pi Network isn't a traditional scam because they never took your money, but honestly, it's also not the guaranteed success story that many of us hoped it would be by now. Viewing this with the clarity that comes from years of disappointment and occasional surprise in crypto, I think Pi is a high speculation, low-risk experiment that could genuinely go either way. In my opinion, the project's greatest asset remains its massive, dedicated community, but I also believe that community's patience has very real limits, and we're approaching them. The robotics partnership, ecosystem development, and infrastructure improvements show that serious work is happening behind the scenes, and I respect that. However, I'm frustrated by the execution speed, and I think major exchange recognition remains the key factor that will determine Pi's ultimate fate. Viewers need to hear this from me directly. I want Pi to succeed. I've invested time and energy into following this project, but I also think we need to treat Pi as exactly what it is. It's a speculative opportunity with genuine potential but absolutely no guarantees, and anyone telling you otherwise is either lying to you or lying to themselves.